28. So I apologize for those who are joining us for our regularly scheduled coaches meeting. And we will go over a little bit of what we would normally go over, and as well as touch base on some of the fitness with Brittany. So we'll transition into the coaches meeting portion of this with the way we always get started, and taking a look at the COVID map as of yesterday. Again, you look back a couple of weeks ago, even last week, I think there was one or two counties that were in the critically high, and now that we are transitioning towards that not being in that, it's good. And we actually have one agency that's now looking really, or when Rusk County is looking really good with a burden of 48, which I don't think a lot of us back when we started tracking this would dream of being back down to 48. So a lot of the states looking really good. Like I mentioned, Marathon County is at 129.9, and you look back February 1st, so a few weeks ago, it was still over that 350 number. So it's been really good that we're progressing downward. If you look at the counties, there's only one that's growing currently, and that one's growing to 200. That's really good. We still have some shrinking, a lot of ones staying the same. So ultimately, the good news about this is, again, anybody in this darker blue, not the navy, but the darker blue, well, the navy too. So the navy and the darker blue can be in phase 1 at this point for indoor activities, and the ones in the darker blue can be in phase 2 for outdoor activities. This one right here, Rusk County could petition to be in phase 2 for indoor activities with the way the numbers are going for that. So ideally, for the outdoor competition that we're having this upcoming weekend, this is the darker blue is what we were looking for. For the indoor competition, we start talking about basketball skills. This lighter blue is where we need to be in order for us to host an indoor competition, and for those competitions. So the good news is that the state's numbers are looking a lot better than they had in the past. And also the good news is that the overall state trajectory is that numbers are going down. The number of vaccines being administered are going up. So ultimately, we're heading in a positive direction for as far as COVID is considered. We continue to follow our burden status for the planning and administering our events. So just keep that consistent. But just because things are getting better doesn't mean we can take our foot off the pedal necessarily, but we definitely want to make sure that we are celebrating and knowing that we're heading towards getting back to what we were kind of used to with Special Olympics and competitions. So again, thank you for those who've been patient with this. And I know we've even gotten to the point where we went back to phase 0. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but we are still cautiously optimistic in the way we're going with everything. And I think that, hopefully as we keep going on these, that map's going to get lighter and lighter, and we're going to be heading in the right direction for that. So.
How soon do you think it'll be before we get to phase 3? Do you have any idea?
If I had my crystal ball and I would tell you, but if there's been times when I felt like the numbers are going to be worse and they came out better, and there's times where I thought the numbers are going to be better and they came out worse. It is a little bit of a roller coaster. I will tell you though, with the vaccine and being administered and some of these other things and now as we get warmer and being able to go outside and spread out, the trend should be going down. Like I said, I would never have thought we would have a county that's below 100 at this point, and we do right now. And I never would have thought that we still had counties that are in that navy blue, and we do right now. So it's a little bit harder to judge. So, but like I said, that's why we monitor it, and as a sports staff meet weekly to discuss those numbers, just to make sure that we're going. We're all on the same page.
Which county is that has the lower numbers? If I just out of curiosity,
it was Rusk County, I believe that's what it was.
What?
So we'll go on to
Dunn County. Did you hear anything about Eau Claire or Dunn County?
We can touch base about those. I mean, you can look at the map,
sure.
And we can touch base about those afterwards. I just want to make sure we keep going here. Before we get into some of the other stuff, a reminder, we talked about this last time, but you never know with new people jumping on week to week. Just a reminder that our directive from Special Olympics North America, Special Olympics Incorporated for the vaccine is that we are not requiring the vaccine in order to participate in Special Olympics. We are not tracking those who have got the vaccine. The overall sentiment from Special Olympics is that we would, obviously encourage the vaccine and would like to educate people on the vaccine as that information comes out. But if you do have any questions, we recommend that you touch base with your physician so they can answer those questions specifically about any risk factors that you would have or any concerns that you might have. We also understand that there are those who will choose not to get vaccinated, and that's like I said, we're not enforcing it or monitoring it, but we like I said, it's best for you to get all the information that you can and make your decision on that, and kind of going forward with that. So again, that's again another policy that we are following, but also we also based on what SOI and SONA is doing, and that's what we're continuing to follow their lead on that. So I understand that there are some that were concerned about us not requiring the vaccine, and unfortunately is not entirely in our hands. So from that side of things.
Jason, I just wanted to say last time we talked about the long-term care people, and I'm looking at I don't know around the state how many, but Inclusa is really big in Marathon County, and everyone from Inclusa got a letter last week.
Yep.
So
That's,
they should be on track to be signing up as of the beginning of March here now.
Right.
Yep, and that phase 1B is supposed to be implemented March 1st. I know there's some situations where they're going a little earlier. I know there's some situations where there's a delay. It's all kind of localized. Don, I don't know what you were going to jump in there. I know.
Yeah, the only other thing I can add is that I did see that Walgreens is going to be the primary point of administration for the vaccines for people in the long-term care waiver program. So at some point there will be basically an online site to go register your name to sign up for. Usually what they do is they get you on the list, and then they see how many doses they have, and then they kind of do random from that list and then give people calls. So yeah, so I'm very optimistic. I was, the problem is it's different in different states. So I was on the call today with somebody from Virginia, and they're already in 1B. So their athletes are already starting to get vaccinated. So, but yeah, so we have a good relationship with Walgreens. And so I'm actually hoping that when we start to get into more kind of promoting the vaccine and providing information for everybody, that we can actually even help facilitate the athletes getting vaccinated. So more to come on that. I just saw the thing about Walgreens literally last night.
Perfect. And I will just say, for my own personal research, if you do have a Meijer in your area, Meijer store, their pharmacy does have a list you can sign up for those like end of the day vaccines. So if you would like to be put on a list, they ask you some of those questions about, are you in education, are you high risk, all those type of things. But you could get on a list, and they would contact you with 24-hour notice if a canceled appointment were to happen in order to use all the vaccines in the vial. So for those who are looking for that type of to be on that type of list, Meijer is offering that right now. I do know Walgreens and CVS do have some like some information list you can be joining on, and then always check in with your healthcare provider too, because I know I think UW Health had an information list, but some of the other ones may not have. So if you're looking to be able to get more information or be on possibly be in line for those end of the day canceled appointments, there's some opportunities out there. Again, it's very different county by county, local, all that type of stuff. So.
Jason, there's a question from
Yep.
Janet.
Janet, go ahead. Janet Bell, if you want to, do you have a question still?
Yeah, I do. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Now you can hear me? Yep.
Yep.
Okay. The local Walgreens in Marshfield here, I had contacted them. They need you to go online to sign up. Even if you call them, they're just going online to sign up. So far, when I go on, you go to walgreens.com, and when you go there and try to sign up at this point, it just says no appointments available.
Sure.
I did talk to somebody there. They only have 30 doses and it's 3 days that they do it. And they have hundreds of people trying to get, on those lists. So just kind of keep that in mind. It will take some patience, from my understanding, to get everybody through, whether you have a letter or not, or do qualify. They've just got so many people that want it and not enough doses to administer. So.
Yeah, no, thank you for that update. That's great. That's good to know. All right. Anybody else have any questions or anything that they would share as far as the vaccine goes? Otherwise, we'll move on to the next.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I got a question for you. The vaccine that I found out I was on a list to go to Marshfield. Marshfield Clinic has taken vaccines.
Marshfield
waiting
Clinic.
lists.
Okay.
Yeah, and their supplies. They said their supplies are going up. They said they're anticipating more vaccines coming within the next 2 months, because our governor said that there's going to be they're really going to ramp them up, because there's people that have the nursing homes around here have been almost the people have been vaccinated that are from the nursing homes and long care facilities. In fact, a friend of mine was just vaccinated twice and she was so thrilled. But yeah, I can't wait for I'm on somewhere on they're taking waiting lists for Marshfield Clinic. I know that for a fact, and Mayo too.
Okay. So if you have, yeah, so Marshfield, that's a good thing to know for a list for that as well. So yeah, and Mike, we'll get to some more of the updates. Next we have on our list would be if we want to touch base on bowling updates. So Nicole and Michaela, if you want to, do you mind sharing?
Yes, Michaela said that the fire alarm in her apartment is going off and the dogs are going wild. So I'm going to take this one tonight. We just wanted to touch base on bowling. Everybody's been turning their scores in weekly, which is great. We hope you guys have enjoyed some of the weekly challenges. We've definitely enjoyed seeing all your pictures that you've been sending in. So we're getting close to the halfway point of the league. And that is when we will do divisioning and then send out kind of everybody's score of where they're at and what division they will be in. So it is going to be split between Northern and Southern. So regions 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be competing against each other. And then regions, sorry, I think I froze for a second. Then regions 6, 7, 8 will be competing against each other. And they will have separate award ceremonies. So when we get to that point, we'll just want to make sure that everybody's on the correct award ceremony. But other than that, you don't have to worry about much now. The biggest key for divisioning is that we're not going to division until all athletes have 8 scores in. So if there's any athletes that you originally registered that are still on your score sheet that are no longer going to be participating, please let us know. Or if you have athletes who have not yet, with the scores that will be coming in this week, reached 8 games, please just touch base with your sports resource team to make sure that they're still on track to be able to get those in time for everything to be completed before our March 14th deadline. So that is the only bowling update, unless anybody has any questions.
Cool.
Awesome.
I'm going to give a quick fitness competition update. So we had 67 participants register. That includes both athletes and unified partners. So I think that's a pretty good turnout for the first time ever running a fitness competition. Nothing much to look out for right now. I just wanted to remind folks that we are doing SOE-led practices Tuesday evenings at 7 and then Friday mornings at 10. They're obviously optional, but they're just another resource for folks to join, and anyone is welcome. You don't have to be participating in the fitness competition to come. They're essentially just a workout. So it's just another opportunity to see other athletes and get moving and try to stay fit. I can send the link for that in the follow-up email, but it's also directly on our events calendar as well. You can sign up to get my reminders, but the Zoom link is directly on our events calendar, so you don't have to sign up. And then just looking ahead, the mid-season scores will be taken March 1st through the 7th. and then do midnight on Sunday the 7th. So just kind of a heads up that that's just around the corner. The other fitness update I wanted to share was we are offering, or rather promoting, SONA is doing a move challenge. So if you at all remember in the fall, they offered a stride challenge. It's a little bit different. This time around, it is logging minutes of physical activity, intentional minutes. So, you know, if you walk around at work a lot, maybe don't count that. But if you go for a walk or a run or yoga or Zumba, weightlifting, anything intentional to exercise would count. So I will share the registration link for that, but registration is now open and the challenge runs from March 15th through the 9th. Athletes can sign up as individuals, or there are pair and team options as well. It's just another good way to promote physical activity. It's a good tie-in if you already are doing the fitness competition. You might as well sign up because you're probably going to be moving for that anyway. So it's just a great way to stay accountable and keep your athletes moving. So I will share that in the follow-up email for anyone interested. And then while I still have the floor, I'll just mention basketball skills will kind of open it up for questions and updates, but just wanted to let you all know that we will be offering a coaches training for basketball skills on March 11th at 6:30. Right now we have it scheduled for an hour and a half. It kind of depends on questions and whatnot, but right now it's 6:30 to 8. And there is a link to sign up, which I will again share in the follow-up email for those interested in that. Now I'll hand it over to Jason.
I would say the only big updates, again, I see that I do know we are getting more and more people who are starting basketball skills practices or finding facilities to start their basketball skills practices. So when you do that, if you have a date, if you started or you are starting, remember, please notify your athletic director to let them know that you have started, and then just get some information as far as when you practice and where you practice, so we can keep track of that. And it also helps with us tracking for phase requests. If we were to try to go to phase 2 or try to get to competition, we just need to know those pieces of information. It makes that process a lot easier. We are on track to have a Northern and a Southern state basketball skills tournament at the end of April. The Southern one, I don't want to, unless Haley or Amber can share if that's been finalized. I think we're pretty much close to wrapping up that date if we haven't already. And then the Northern one for date and location, our deadline to hopefully get an answer back from them would be March 1st, and then we'd be able to send that out. But from a facility standpoint, we're pretty well situated, but we'll continue to update you with those once they're finalized. And just like
Jason,
yeah, go ahead, Amber.
Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School is finalized, so it will be on Sunday, April 25th.
Sunday, April 25th, Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School in Jackson, Wisconsin, and that would be for regions 6, 7, and 8. So if you are 6, 7, or 8 and planning on going to the in-person state basketball skills competition, that would be the competition date and location for you. And like I said, the Northern one, we have a good good track on. We're just waiting for final confirmation before we release that date. And March 1st is the deadline we've kind of talked with that facility about. So as far as getting an answer, not the date, sorry. And then just like we did for winter games, we would also be offering both in practice and in-person competition for those who may not feel comfortable traveling, especially since there are 2 state tournaments, not maybe necessarily in your backyard. So that will also be an option. And again, just like everything else, athletes can compete in both of those. So we can have athletes that we do in practice and in person, and more information about that will come out once we have those dates finalized as well. So anybody have any questions that are for basketball skills? Like Brittany mentioned, was it March 11th coaches training, and then we also do have instructional videos on all the basketball skills stations, including the new level 3 basketball skills. So if you have not gone to the website under basketball skills, those videos are available for that. One thing I did want to touch base on is from Winter Games, we are planning on doing the virtual celebration again. We're planning on combining that with bowling and the fitness challenge. So we'll be looking at the end of March, beginning of April for that. We'll send more information when that stuff gets coming out for that. And then we are going to continue to release dates for track and swimming. I think Bob just sent me a question here about the latest schedule. So we are anticipating the second and third weekend of May to be the targets for our district or our regional track meets. Again, once those are finalized, we'll get them posted. I know Region 2, Amber had already posted the Merrill track meet has a finalized date for that. So we are looking at those 2 weekends for track. We are looking for the first 2 weekends of June for swimming. And then once we have a venue finalized for soccer, soccer will either be in May or June. It depends on facility availability. And then again, we will do planning on the last weekend of June for a single day state track meet and a single day state swim meet. Again, once that, I apologize for not having that firm information out yet. As I think a lot of you have experienced, venues are a little hard to give you something in ink, maybe a little bit something in pencil. So I just don't want to release something out there that may get changed. So we're trying to get it finalized for you, but that time frame will be what we're looking at. So if you have any concerns about when to start practices or anything like that, that's what we're looking at. And that's the schedule we're planning on going with, unless COVID numbers start to skyrocket again or something like that. So yeah, so Bob, thanks for the question. I'm sorry I don't have an exact answer for you, but we'll go from there. You got to ask the question, do you have basketball skills drills typed out or just the videos? So the drills are included in the rules, which are in each of the different level 1, level 2, level 3 are typed out in the rules. And then there is also the videos that accompany those on the website. So you get both options. And as well as the score sheets for that. All right. And then, like I said, still the plan is to kind of continue back with the back half of a normal year if we can get, once we get to July for softball and going forward on that, and we'll continue to go that route. So is there any limit to when coaches can start holding track practices? That's a good question, Mark. So we typically would like the 8 weeks of training leading up to competition. We understand this year with facilities as well as weather that may be limited. So we will work with agencies on that. Ideally, it'd be 8 weeks. If you want to go longer, if you have a facility that's ready to go, and hopefully right now it would be an indoor facility, you can go ahead and start practicing following the COVID protocols. If you have a group that's going to be larger than 10 and you like to start with a smaller group and give you a couple of weeks so you can get up to the second phase 2, that's recommended as well. Remembering that you have to start at phase 1 with 10 people and then petition to get to phase 2 with 50. So it's going to be up some flexibility for the agencies of what you have and what you need. But we are willing to work with people, obviously, as long as we can get some sort of practice together with qualifying times before the registration deadlines, which again will be closer to the end of April this year. That's kind of your time frame that you really need to be concerned about, is to be able to get some qualifying times for that. But you can start practices whenever you have an availability to do so, and I want to do so from an agency standpoint. So that's the same thing with swimming and soccer as well. Any questions about those summer game sports that we have going on? All right, so other than that, the other reminder is that March, we will not be holding these bi-weekly coaches calls. We are encouraging you to go to your regional quarterly meetings that are scheduled. If you do not know the date or you do not have the information for that, reach out to your athletic director. They will have that. I believe there's a Google form to sign up, so you can get similar to how you signed up for this meeting. For regions 4 and 5, you can reach out to myself or Mark Wolfgram. We'll be able to send you that information as well. The dates have been scheduled, and I think the first one is Region 7 here coming up next week, I believe. That sounds right. But the majority of them are in March. And so during those meetings, we'll continue to give updates as far as summer game seasons and any changes on that, as well as other information that's pertinent to each region. So please go onto those and use that time. It's a time for not only agency managers, but coaches, families, athletes. They can all join on those. Time to ask some questions for staff that are available for those. And again, we'll provide updates through those for March rather than overwhelm you guys with meetings. We figured that would be the best resource to share information. And of course, if there's any major changes, we will continue to communicate via email and with the agencies as we have been. So. All right. Mike, you got a question? Nope. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. And if anybody has any other questions too, feel free to shoot us an email on the COVID email. Otherwise, you can reach out to us. We're available. The majority of us will be out of the office tomorrow setting up for winter games. But if you want to send us an email, we'll probably be checking that throughout the day as we do set up as well. So,
hey, Jason, I actually do have a question.
Go ahead, Mike. What was that?
Oh, so I'm still with Wassa in my county, and John is below 350. But I'm just wondering, are they in phase 2?
They're phase 2 for outdoor events, phase 1 for indoor events.
Oh, okay. I didn't know, that's why I asked.
Yep. And if you're bowling on your own, that really shouldn't affect you that much. But yeah, they would be in outdoor phase 2, indoor phase 1. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Well, again, like I said, thanks again, everybody, for joining us, and I appreciate those being patient with our Winter Games meeting. If you're not coming to Winter Games, for those coming to Winter Games, we'll see you in a couple of days, and we're excited to see you. And everybody else, we will continue to see you on these, and hopefully see you in person soon. So, thanks, everybody. Have a great night.